Thank you for viewing this demonstration of the VeriPic Digital Evidence Manager. The Digital Evidence Manager is a general repository for all digital evidence, including photos, video, and video from multiple sources, including interview rooms, body-worn cameras, dash cams, and cell phones, and other kinds of video. It also can store things like scanned documents, audio files, digital x-rays, even cell phone memory dumps, and so forth. So it's a good general repository for digital evidence. It works in conjunction with other components of the VeriPic system. For example, it works with the mugshot system for handling bookings. It works with the interview room system for handling cameras that are stored, installed in the interview rooms for suspect interviews. And it also works with the VeriPic Locker, which connects the system to body-worn cameras. I will focus primarily on the functions of the Digital Evidence Manager. This is not an exhaustive tutorial, and there are many functions that we're not going to cover today, but we will highlight a few of the functions. So here's the main screen of the Digital Evidence Manager. The primary use of this is actually for crime scene photos, even though it handles all digital evidence. The majority of our customers handle crime scene photos and documentation. One of the very advanced pieces of technology that's in the system is its ability to detect whether or not a photo editor, such as Adobe Photoshop, has been in contact with a particular picture and may or may not have altered it. So let me go ahead and show what the import process looks like. I'll hit import, and the system administrator, for the ease of use for the end users, can customize this for certain specific import locations or let the users choose. Here we have a bunch of car accident photos, but I'm going to go ahead and focus on these particular two pictures of the white car. One of these pictures is a real picture, and the other one has been edited using a photo editor, and the system will be able to detect that. And the reason we understand how this works is because a couple of our employees have actually worked at Adobe before, and we understand technologically how digital pictures are constructed to very fine detail. The other thing, we've been in business since 1998, so virtually all production cameras that exist on the market have been profiled by us so that we can actually understand exactly what a real picture looks like from different camera models. And this is, if not the largest, it is one of the largest repositories of camera data in the world. We also not only do make products, but we can also do a laboratory analysis for you if you want to go further. So we're a full service company that helps you in many ways. But let me go ahead and import these into the system to show you that the system can actually detect the difference between these two photos. I'll go ahead and hit apply. And this is the normal import process. It's very easy. It's a wizard. It walks the users through it. I'm going to type in the case number. So for example, year dash and then 0118, which is the month and day, and then let's say a 4-digit number to round off the case number. Or we could add to an existing case if that's what we wanted to do. Notice that it's warning me right now that this case number already exists. Says, do you want to import into an existing case? I'll just go ahead and say yes. If it was a brand new case, this window would not show up. And I will warn you ahead of time, one of these pictures is not an authentic picture, and the system will catch that and warn me about that. I'm going to go ahead and type in the title and notes. And this is where you type in information about the pictures. Now, the reason we want to do that is it goes beyond just documentation. Our system is able to actually understand plain English, so we don't have to index these pictures or assign it to categories or anything like that. Once you type in your titles and notes, we can search by keywords that are inside the titles and notes. Another thing I'll point out is this discoverable checkbox. And if I check it as discoverable, it means that if there's a court order and the discovery request is made, we can actually include this as what we can search for. And I'll show you how easy it is to search by keywords a little bit later. But basically, we have a product called the eDiscovery compiler, which is a companion product to the Digital Evidence Manager that you're looking at. And when you use that other product, you could actually type in the keywords that the lawyers are looking for, and it will find from the repository responsive evidence to that court order, and it makes the whole process really easy. So I'm going to go ahead and hit finished. And the first picture is okay with because it was valid, but the second picture is warning me does not match the fingerprint, the digital fingerprint of any supported camera. Do you want to secure it only? So I'll go ahead and say yes. And keep in mind that I actually entered this into an existing case. I'll go ahead and select the two pictures. Actually, I could select it by thumbnails or by text, and I'll display it. And this is the picture where the license plate starts with a 6. I'll go ahead and hit authenticate, and it passed. Not only does it pass, it will actually identify what camera took it. I'll go to the next picture. This is a picture beginning with 1. Obviously, the license plates are different, but otherwise the picture looks the same. I'll say, is it authentic? And it says, no, this is a secure only. So that this is an extremely advanced piece of technology, and it basically gives you confidence that the pictures coming in have not been tampered, but not only gives you confidence, but the opposing attorneys will gain their confidence as well. Let me go ahead and show a couple other pieces of technology. A lot of times you'll have bite marks, tire treads, shoe impressions, and so forth, and you want to print the pictures out at 1:1. So we have an optional module called a calibration module that allows you to do that. And all you got to do is take a picture with a scale or a ruler in visible sight, and it doesn't have to be a scale or a ruler. It could be any object of known size, like a quarter, if you don't have a ruler handy. But let me go ahead and calibrate this. I go module, calibrate size. I have a visible scale, so I'll use that. It says click the beginning of the scale, click the end of the scale, tell me how many inches are between those two. This is 6 inches. Now it's calibrated. Once it's calibrated, if you were sitting here with me, I would just print it out on a piece of paper and let you look at it. But since you're not, I'm going to go ahead and do a print preview. And this is how easy the process is. I just go ahead and check the calibrate size, and I'll select what size I want. 1x means life size. And this is an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. And you notice that the 6-inch ruler runs about 3/4 of the way across, which means it's the correct size. If I printed it out to a piece of paper, you'll be able to hold a ruler up to this, and all the tick marks would match. But wait, there's more. You might ask me, well, how long is that tear in the tire? So let me go ahead and measure distance. All I got to do is click the beginning of the tear, click the end of the tear, and it says it's 3.4 inches or 87 millimeters. That's how easy it is to do that. Let's look at another aspect of police work, fingerprints. So we have a background removal module. It will actually remove colors in the background that are not the same as the fingerprint powder color. So let me go ahead and select this picture right here. And I actually had done this earlier, but let me go ahead and revert it. So this is the end result when the fingerprint powder is showing and the background has already been set to white. But I'm going to go ahead and give you the original picture, and then I'll describe to you how that works. I'll just turn it off. So how this works is the following. We have 3 pixels here. So what we do is we zoom in. Okay, let me go back to that window right here. So what we do is we zoom in and click 3 representative pixels that were the approximate color of the fingerprint, and we average the 3 so that we know what color the fingerprint powder is. And then we select a stain color. In this case, I selected white, but I could actually select any color. And so anything that isn't part of the background gets pushed to that color. And that's what you saw earlier, which is basically that anything that wasn't part of the fingerprint, which is in this case black fingerprint powder, gets turned to white. And that's how this works. Now let's go ahead and look at security. So I log in as the administrator. I'm going to go ahead and select George Monroe. Now, the system is very, very flexible when it comes to security. You could apply policy so that everybody who's a detective, for example, has the same security settings, or you could select on an individual basis based on need to know. So the ability to view, edit, import, and so forth, you could actually select anywhere from no access to maximum security. And on top of that, you could select whether or not this particular individual belongs to certain groups. So for example, he belongs to detectives and patrol. And so he can only see the evidence that's in detectives and patrol because he's a member of these groups. And on top of that, his security settings are controlled by those, what I showed you just a little bit earlier. But you can customize these groups. So for example, you could create a task force and then have only members who belong to the task force be able to access the evidence belonging to it. Or you could have a group called Internal Affairs, and only people belonging in Internal Affairs can access those pieces of evidence. So the system is extremely flexible when it comes to security. Now, I'm going to talk to you about something that's not visible, but nevertheless something that you should care about. Evidence that's stored in our system is both encrypted and hashed. And our encryption algorithm, we're cryptography experts, so we invented the algorithms, and they have never been cracked in almost 20 years of doing this. Whereas other systems out there might have used certain encryption algorithms that a typical lifetime of an encryption algorithm is about 7 to 8 years after it's invented to the point it's cracked. Okay. The other thing is, cryptography algorithms, I'll mention a couple of them. SHA has been cracked. MD5 has been cracked. And so if you're using any systems, it's important for you to ask what algorithms they're using for the security. The second part of it is hashing. So a hash is a number that you calculate based on the contents of a file. And the theory behind that is that if you edit the file or alter it or damage it or somehow fake it, that the hash number would be different and therefore no longer match the original hash. And that's how you protect against people hacking into your computer and changing the evidence files. The problem with that is that if you use a single hash, it's possible to edit and alter the evidence and still have it match. It's called a collision when that happens. Now, we actually hold a patent in this area where if you actually have multiple hashes calculated in different ways, you can actually protect against alteration of the files, because even though with a single hash you can match it through a collision process, you cannot match two or more different hashes at the same time, because when you can match one of them with a collision, then it won't match the other one. And we actually patented the process, and we hold the patent to this. And so if you're looking at any other systems other than ours, you might want to ask them, do you or do you not use multiple hashes instead of a single hash? Because a single hash can be easily broken. And we have actually shown by brute force, you can actually calculate, have a computer do the cracking, and it could be as little as 10 to 15 minutes in some occasions. So that's very important to know whether or not it's patented. And this patented multiple hashing algorithm is available in our software as well as business partners of VeriPic. So please be sure to ask for that, because that's very important. So this is an overview of the system. As you can see, it's very easy to use. And a lot of people tell us that when we show them this demo, they already understand how to use the system. They really need only minimal training. That's because ease of use is what we focus on. And oh, I forgot one more thing. So I mentioned that the keywords are searchable. So let me start over and search. So for example, if I'm looking for arson pictures, I could type arson, do a search, and you notice it found 376 pictures in less than half a second. We have some customers that have several petabytes of data, and they have millions and millions of items in their databases, and the searches are still half a second or less. That's how advanced our search algorithms are. But if you want to actually narrow this down, I could look for kitchen fires, and I'll search inside the results, and I found 94 items. Let's suppose I select thumbnails. I say select all, apply, and I could go view these pictures. Now I'm going to go page through them. It's pretty fast, but let me just hold down the button, and you see how it's flipping through. We call this turbo view because basically we are able to load full screen pictures between 5 and 10 per second. These are not miniature thumbnail size pictures. These are full screen pictures. Again, this is because of our extremely good understanding of how pictures are assembled. Now, for those of you who are high-end photographers and so forth, you would know what a camera raw is. But camera raw is an uncompressed version of pictures, and it's extremely large, and usually it takes you between 10 to 20 seconds per picture to load. But take a look at this. These are, for those of you who are Nikon users, you would recognize Nikon NEF. This is a Nikon NEF pictures. But I'm going to go ahead and page through this, and you notice that they are still using turbo view, and we're able to load full screen pictures super fast. Now, just to show you, these are not thumbnails or little pictures. I'm going to zoom in, and you see these are full detail, full size pictures, and these are camera raw to boot. So basically, we are able to show with our really advanced technology, we could save you a lot of time. One of the largest medical examiners' offices in the country actually use our system to manage autopsy pictures and so forth. And for a homicide, they might typically take between 200 and 400 pictures. And because of our turbo view, their pathologists and the investigators can flip through those in a matter of seconds, whereas if you had taken camera raw pictures and had to wait between 10 and 20 seconds per picture, 400 pictures will take you a long, long time. So basically, we offer you extreme security, photo authentication, super high performance and speed, and users, very flexible user security model. That's what VeriPic is all about. If you have any more questions, feel free to contact our dealer. That's Force Protection Video, is a premier dealer for VeriPic's products. You could visit their website at www.forceprovideo.com. That's www.forceprovideo.com. Or you could contact them toll-free at 855-746-0245.